Hey, what's up? Welcome to Space Couch. Call the spaceships to Davenport. Prepare for divanity and interface with the couch in space. I'm going to try something a little bit new right off the bat here and uh, just, is it not going to let me share it to my own? Wait. Technology. I'm going to technology so hard. I just want to share it to my Brian page. All right, cool. And we're just going to go back in. All right. I am space enabled. And how are you? Thanks for joining us here on the Flying Chaise Lounge through the cosmos. A lot to get into today, and I'm happy to do it from a couch in space because there's no place I'd rather be. And yeah, we're just gonna do a little bit of that. Sure, fine, whatever. Let's get into just a little bit of advertising off the bat. The new monomer is out. New Bitman. This is all at Tiger Squawk Digital. New Isserly. And also new Mr. Zoth and the Were Spiders. And also new Cedar Hill Furniture. And that you can check that all out at tigersquawkrecords.bandcamp.com or Tiger Squawk Digital or facebook.com/Tiger Squawk Records. So, let's do a little bit of that. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today, super excited. I've seen him live a couple times, but I don't really know this person super well. But his music is just electrically hot, pun semi-intended. I wish I had that kind of foresight. From my old hometown of Chicago, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Mr. Kevin Lux. Kevin, we can see you. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, it's happening.
What's up, buddy? Welcome to space. I know you have, a lot going on in your robot cave, so thanks for taking some time out to beam your signal directly up here into the great beyond. So let's just get into it. 2019 was like crazy for you. You had, let me know if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, op minus z plus vp plus vp dash 03, and the Clock Law remixes and 30 minutes are all out now, all released by you or semi by you in 2019. Tell us about these albums.
Well, for those of you who've never heard my actual voice, this is actually what I sound like.
There you
Most
go.
of the time in my music, it's all electronic. So I do have a voice.
We have a Space Couch exclusive off the bat.
You're hearing my voice, man.
Love it.
Yeah, OPZ plus VPO3. That's what that.
Okay, dope.
About. But the 30 minutes came out. There was an album I released several years ago called Fragments, which was more an ambient mix of interconnected pieces put into 3 chapters. Each chapter was, I forgot, like 20 minutes long or so. And they're all related. And I was thinking about doing the next part of Fragments, but I wanted to do a dance music version of it. And then a non-stop one piece that has subparts. That ended up becoming 30 minutes. It's a 30-minute long song, but there's obviously, it goes different ways throughout it. Fragments, it leans more towards soundtracky type ambient stuff, I guess. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't have fit that. But I am going to do Fragments 2, and that is on the radar. I just don't know if I'll get to it this year, but I have to do another one of those for sure. Clock Law, that originally came out in 2018 in the Dark Machine album. Mm-hmm. I like that song. I really, that's the only song, for if anybody cares about trivia, where you actually, of all the years I've been making music, It's the only song you ever hear my natural voice in.
Oh, what?
And all it is I go, ha! That's it.
Well, what led you to? I mean, you just felt the song needed that,
Yeah, absolutely.
or
Because it's kind of a forceful, ha! I'm getting to get into it.
love
That's
it.
when I had to do that. I had to do that.
And
So,
that's on
Dark
Clock
Machine.
Law. Clock
That's
Law.
the original. Oh, it's
Right.
Spotify. Is that what you're saying?
No, like how would uh and where do we get the original has your vocal ha.
Well, it's on the Dark Machine album 2018. Well,
Okay.
although all the versions of it that I've done have that.
Okay.
There are two different versions of that song that I perform live. They're both slightly different than the
Okay.
original album version. But
Well,
yeah, the remixes, I had a wonderful folks remix it for me. That was awesome. I
very
didn't think
cool.
anybody even into that. And then the OPZ VP3 album, that is something that goes in a direction I've never tried before. I got this idea as I have had a teenage engineering OPZ or OPZ. If you're familiar with a small, I don't have it with me right now. It's a crazy little machine.
Okay.
I'm not going to try to go into all that it does. I mean, you can Google it, but it's very unique for what it is. And I decided I want to try to make an album using that and then a Roland VP3 little vocoder only.
Okay. Oh, nice.
And only use them in 3 tracks. Where the OPZ I would play live, rehearsal obviously,
Huh.
lay down the one track with all the music in it, and then one other track with vocals, and then one other track with some string pads because the VP3 can do that too. So the requirement was only 3 tracks per song, and I had to work within that.
That
There's
is
no nothing like that at all. It was
brutal.
difficult to do that album. It was difficult to do that album.
Were you just throwing the machines against the wall at the end of the day? That sounds horrific to me.
It was challenging, but I got so much out of that little thing. That's where I could probably do a marketing and advertising for that teenage industry. They should pay me
Well, all
because it
right.
shows what you can do with it. All in one pass. There's no, like normally in a DAW, you have the various tracks, all your instruments.
Yeah.
No. I was restricted. Us from the very beginning. I'm going to start this project, and here's the guidelines I got to work with. Let's see if I did one song. All right, I'm going to see how far I can go till I get burnt out and ended up a whole album with it. So
That's pretty awesome, man. Like, would you ever do? I mean, did you? You must know it inside and out now. Like, would you ever do that again?
no, because I've sold it.
Okay, I feel that.
No, I'm not knocking the device. I just came to the point where I don't know what else I could do with it. Because to bring it
Understood.
into the rest of the studio with everything else, I don't know how it would fit in, to be honest with you. Because it kind of is it dominates everything.
Okay.
You need it to be like the center. If you hear the music on the album, it sounds
Oh,
like
really?
different instruments. Well, it's all coming out of this little thing.
Well,
So I don't know. I mean, I've since sold it, but I mean, that was a fun different project to do that. So
yeah. You just I no more of this. Can I take it out of my sight? Well, speaking of all your 2019 material, let's take a little bit of a listen to it. Here are some selections from 2019 from the great Kevin Lux. So we have 30 minutes starting off here. You and I can talk. You won't be able to hear it, but what I would call crap. Hope that's good love. Thanks for Ken Burns.
Music.
Your
Number
pretty great. There we see one of the two machines on the cover of 3. Okay. Oh, you got both of them. Okay. Very cool. And I love it. Thanks so much for preparing those clips. So, and we're gonna cut back to this. Great. So, big ups to Dan Gunther of Vein Collector in the chat room. We get that all at where? kevinlux.bandcamp.com?
yes, or if just the main website is kevinlux.com, but I'm all over the place. Spotify, iTunes, or Apple Music as they call it now. I mean, all the different places. But yeah, on Bandcamp you can get that on there. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So, for those of us that haven't seen you live, you do some pretty amazing performances. It's like
Thank you.
it's great, very one guy just destroying it on the Kraftwerkian synths. Um, and we'll get into this in a second, but just give me like a taste of your history in electronic music because I'm really interested in that.
Well, I'll try to be brief. I have notes written here because I'm going to forget everything that I can't remember anything. I don't even know who I am anymore.
Huh.
Well, I am originally an Empire State human, meaning I was born in upstate New York.
Mm.
I don't remember it. Then I moved to northern Indiana, where I grew up. It's my childhood
Mm.
there. And at that time, our extended family lived up in the Detroit metro area, and this would be mid 70s going into the 80s. And so we would do family trips all the time to go out there and visit the family. And I was exposed to Detroit radio at that time, which at that time was very progressive in the country as far as playing electronic music, mixing it in on various shows like the Electrifying Mojo and various other stuff. And this is where I first heard Kraftwerk.
Mm.
In
So
the
it is
late,
Kraftwerk, okay.
initially, the late 70s, which would have been the Man Machine album. That's the first one I heard by them. And then YMO, Yellow Magic Orchestra from Japan, Egyptian Lover. I first heard that's dude up in LA, mixed some awesome stuff. Just mixed up stuff like that. But when I Kraftwerk, I lost my freaking mind. I was a kid of 9 years old and lost my mind. It was when, at that time when I was young, I actually was learning to play the clarinet. Of all things, you'd never expect me playing that, but yeah. And after hearing the music, I decided I need to start making my own electronic music, but I don't have any. I'm a kid. I don't have any means to do that. But first of all, I need to learn how to play the keyboard and learn music theory. So I started going through that progress. Then the Computer World album came out, and that threw me over the edge. And the very first keyboard I ever bought, I still have it.
Oh, hey, nice.
I still have it.
What is it?
It's a Casio VL Tone.
Very cool.
Yeah, this goes way back.
That's amazing. I still have my first drum machine around here somewhere too. That's pretty awesome, man.
It still works, but I have it. I think it probably would, but yeah, this is it. I mean, a lot of people ask me, "What's your first? What started it?" Well, this little thing.
That's amazing. Well, the reason I wanted to jump into like at least a little bit of history is because we have some Space Couch exclusive from the future.
Yes.
This is the wanted to lay the groundwork before we get into the upcoming heretofore unheard 2020 stuff, which Kevin Lux has provided to us here. So if it's okay, let's do a little cut to that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kevin Lux 2020, it's sounding pretty great, man. Yeah, there's that wonderful straight out of MTV amp cover. I love it. Oh, nice. What's up to Cookie Monstrance? I have almost the exact same Casio. My first too. Nice. Yes, anybody wants to throw in on Electro Super Sultan Kevin Lux, let us know. It's space. I can say whatever I want. There you go. We have the UFO, the unidentified frequency oscillator. Electric Dimension coming soon from Kevin Lux. Very cool. What information have you?
That the title of that album is originally I had some other things knocking around in my mind. And I decided on Electric Dimension, but another option was going to be Dimension Intrusion until I forgot that Richie Houghton, aka Fuse, in the '90s had an album called that. And I didn't want to fret on any of that. It's a classic. But then the way the content was going, it just struck me to be like a dimensional. It's much more upbeat. Those clips you just heard, those are not finals.
Oh,
They're
okay, awesome.
still
Well, this is
that's the
Space
premise.
Couch Raw.
Yeah,
Jeff
they're.
Warfield of Never's Blessing says definitely digging those bass tones.
Thank
So
you very much.
good
The
stuff.
album will be much more high energy, upbeat than the past few. Uh, Mostly dance music. It's
Very
mostly.
cool. Very
And
cool.
then the special thing is in the past and some recent albums, I've decided to take older songs that I've recorded years ago and redo a couple of them for forthcoming albums, like Battery, Cyborg and Shadows, this, that, and the other. Those are originally really old. So I decided on this project I'm going to do it again. And I'm happy to reveal that they're, for anyone that's familiar with my oldest stuff, the second album from 1995 is called Themes from the Electric Society. And I'm redoing the title cut, Electric Society, and the Mood of Numbers. Those will be on this new album, completely hopped up. The purists need not worry. The structure will not change. I'm just redoing them and bringing them up. And then there's two more from the 1996 album called Dance Option. I'm redoing Commuter. I don't even remember the name of it. Computer Commuter.
Or we'll go with that.
Float Up into the Light. Those two are going to be, well, Computer Commuter is done now, just about done. So those four actually are originally written long ago. They'll be on the album soon.
How do you find that the piece where you revisit old material? Because I've done it a little bit, and for me, it's this dance of it's easy because I know it inside and out, and I'm motivated because it's there's things I want to fix, but there's also like a molecule of like, oh, I'm still working on this crap from 1998. Like I don't want to even touch it. Like, do you get enjoyment out of correcting, if that's even the right word to use?
I do. A lot of my older stuff was written in a period of my life that I won't go into that was very difficult. And plus, the equipment I had back then was very simple. And I always imagined back then writing this stuff, what would happen? What if I could write this the way I really want to, like in my mind, what I really want it to be someday? And now I'm blessed to be able to have the ability to, what I hear in my head, what it should sound like.
Oh,
Now
okay.
it's going to sound like that.
That is a great feeling. You
That's
can go from head to DAW or keyboard pretty well.
yes.
Awesome, awesome.
Oh,
Well,
I hope so.
well, well. Let's
The,
say. I mean, how else has this upcoming 2020 album been different for you?
It's mixed hardware, software. It's going to be the full studio
Oh,
now.
awesome.
After the one last year was just 3 tracks. This is unrestricted. This is the full blown deal, and there it is hardware and software. I think I'm not one that a proponent of which one's better or the other.
Right,
For me,
right.
they're both have their pluses and minuses, and I can't function without both. So there's things I want to use both hardware and software in to get because it all is good. It's all good in the end.
So, describe your writing process now versus 2019, using cheese as a metaphor.
Uh, there was less vocals in this. Most of the people familiar with the older materials, majority of my music was instrumental for many years. And only in the recent years have I started putting vocals in.
Oh, okay.
There's some tidbits here and there, but for the most part, my stuff is always instrumental. And I'm not a good lyricist. It took a while. I mean, if you hear a song that has lyrics in it, I mean, I think I'm getting a little bit better at it. When I come up my head, getting it to where it works in music, but for me, it takes me a long time. I'm not gifted with the right words, but I mean, it comes out eventually the way I want it, but that's difficult. So this album is going to go a little bit back to the roots, where most of it is going to be just hard jamming instrumental stuff. The vocal style is going to sound different, though.
Okay, great.
A lot different. A lot different. Oh, lastly, before I forget, there are going to be 2 versions of the album.
Look at you.
Yeah, the first one, the official one's going to be out on all the usual distribution. Then there's going to be a Bandcamp specific only release with different artwork and extra tracks.
Okay.
When this is all set up. So maybe I'll put the original songs from '95 on there, master them or something. I don't know what I'm going to do yet with that. But, so
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of what it is. There's going to be elements of synthwave, ambient, industrial, EBM, electro.
All of it.
All yes, yeah, all on this.
Well, to use my cheese metaphor, it sounds like you're going to be releasing Jack and then Pepper Jack, two kind of things, but they're different.
Melted my face.
What's the? Speaking of your face, um, I have heard. I haven't seen this in the like the one or two times I've seen you live, but I've heard there's something of like a Kevin Lux alter ego.
Yeah, that's Sewell Nevek. Yeah, that came out of an idea where I wanted to be able to experiment with stuff, like more experimental music, where I wanted to have it more abstract, hypnotic.
Oh, I don't know if you can hear me. We're hitting some sort of override. It's I don't know. The alien beings in the universe are overriding our signal. Ladies and gentlemen, this is highly unusual. I've never seen this happen before. I don't know. Goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen, we have been supplanted by an alternative being. Sir, could you please identify yourself? We have a space sickness. Are you the alter ego, sir?
It is Skolniak.
Skolniak, live on the space couch. Goodness gracious. Hello, Mr. Nevek. Thank you for supplanting Kevin's body. Can you tell me what it's like to share a body?
It is all it can be.
Okay, very stoic. What now? You've done some remix work as Skolniak. Pretty great stuff, if I might say so. What can you tell me about your remix process?
The remix of itself is the Kevin Lux.
All right, okay, hella cryptic, yo. Now, as far as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong. There's yet another other in there, maybe. What is your relationship to Skolniak?
This is the second album it's made. There will be a third.
Oh, kick ass, man! You, for one corpus, you are certainly releasing a lot of material. Because we were talking to, I don't know if you ever met Kevin Lux. He was on just a second ago before you co-opted his person. But you're doing a second Skolniak album, or you have one out, and there will be a third Skolniak. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome.
It is run by itself. The other has no control.
No control. Okay. What's up to Dre from Noisebox and Scilab in the audience? Tell me about your sound, Mr. Nevek.
It is beyond Kevin Lux.
Oh yeah, that dude's yeah, he ain't nothing. You're the real deal, huh?
Oh.
Oh, well, I mean, clearly you wield vast cybernetic power, being able to do a system being able to do a system takeover of the space couch. You might have caught a space virus there. It's okay. Well, thank you for helping me out here. Like, do you ever just sort of manifest randomly in Kevin's psyche, or do you have to like be ritualistically summoned with like LED candles and like laser pentagrams and stuff?
Yes. In appearing during live control of a motor vehicle is challenging.
Amazing, amazing. So, one. I mean, I'm so overwhelmed here with things I wanna ask you. So, do you show up live every now and then?
It does.
Okay, all right. So we will watch for you around. And do you have any thoughts you want to share with us as a cybernetic other?
No.
Okay. Our antivirus just kicked in, and we're slowly getting the transmission back. I think we'll be able to do this. We run Norton up here in space. It's all good. It's going to. Okay. Oh, we got the transmission back. Kevin, you'll never believe it.
I know it. I know it. Damn it. I'm sorry about this. I didn't expect this.
Okay. This is a dance you've danced before.
I deal with this all the time. It usually happens when I'm performing live or sometimes in the studio.
Wow.
Black out, man.
So, nice to have you back, Mr. Normal Kevin.
Sorry about that.
No, don't, like, I mean, I don't have a cybernetic other being in my person, so, like, I can't speak to that, but, you know, it seems pretty challenging. It makes for great TV, but it seems...
Absolutely.
Nick Jones of Digital Gnosis says LED candles and laser pentagrams equal Gothical's Witch House album. Maybe.
Yes.
I don't have any. I don't know if I have any letters I can replace with a triangle, but we'll figure it out. Woo. Okay. I mean, now that we're back in the flesh, how does the process manifest for you physically? I'm finding this interesting because some people like really come online, if you will, at night. I'm really good, like right when I wake up, like I'm pretty crisp, and then it's just like a slide the rest of the day. What's your physical process like?
Well, first of all, I have to get into a creative wave, and if I'm not in a creative wave, nothing can be forced.
Yeah.
I can sit and spend an hour and futz around with noises, and then nothing happens. I got to get an idea, and then usually if I get a creative wave going, then the song will come out, and maybe another one, and then like now, fortunately, I'm on one, so I got to ride it out.
Oh, nice.
I got to like create a wave, and then when I run out of gas, that's all the content for the album.
Okay.
So, really? Normally, I'll get like a melody or something in my head, an idea, and then come home, and usually it's tinkering with the sounds, just tinkering around, put a beat in, and something starts to gel, and then the composition will start to come out.
Interesting.
And then usually the song will be mostly written first, very just primitive, just the scoring part of it. And then I usually back the instruments into it and then polish on that and then go around and around and around. And usually I will have a number of adult beverages and participate in listening to the work in progress. I have the ability to listen to music very loud. I've got a space here where I can do that. So it gets tested. And I found something else. I keep polishing it. Eventually what will happen is I get sick of it. I get to the point I can't think of anything else to do, and I get sick of it. That one's done.
Okay.
So it sounds, I don't know. It's
pretty awesome.
But the funny thing is when it's released, I get all back into it again because I have this thought in my head that somebody I don't even know anywhere in the world at any given time with technology now can take their time and listen to something that I made, which I am flattered by.
Yeah.
And that motivates me to get all back into it again. So I don't know how that works, but I've always been that way.
Interesting. So you back gear into it. So it's usually software first for you?
Yeah, to write the piece. And then depending, I'll mix like some of the albums, like the first Skull Nevek album, I forgot what year that was. That was my first total software album. It was completely software, but it just worked best for that topic matter. Where this one's going to be mixed, of course. I want to have some fun with everything in it. So, and that's where it is. That's where it is now. I mean, it's mostly, well, I would say it's 2/3 software.
Okay. You're feeling it though. You're feeling this 2020 electric dimension.
I love it. I'm way into this.
Nice, man.
I love it. I can't wait to. And the release, I will say it will be spring.
Okay.
That's all I can tell you right now.
No, I totally feel that.
Yeah.
Well. I'm going to Pulp Fiction this a little bit and jump around in time because I know I started off asking about your origin story a little bit. We have baby Kevin in Detroit. Man Machine is blowing your mind. You're rocking the Casio. What's the next step for you?
Well, what happened? I mean, hearing the Detroit radio, I came back to. I grew up in South Bend, Indiana, so that's where I grew up,
Word.
and until early 20s, and I moved out to Chicago. I've been here more than half my life, but I started out with a Casio, got a few more. I started taking stuff apart, recording. I just had a 4-track tape recorder. I didn't really have anything back then. As it was developing for many years, I didn't even have a computer. Of course, they weren't helping, but I was listening to a lot of other stuff. I'm going to name drop some stuff that I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. Obviously, Kraftwerk, Severed Heads, Front 242, Cabaret Voltaire,
Oh yeah,
Newman,
hell yeah,
OMP,
dude.
YMO, Tangerine Dreams, Java Sozar, Telex, I can go on and on. All those artists, I lost my mind in, and they all play a little bit of an inspiration into what comes out of my head. And then over the years, I just started. I recorded a lot of tapes. I have. That's the other. When I was back then, I referred to myself as Pulse, like the word Pulse. I didn't go by Kevin Lux.
Okay.
And it was just this chaotic instrumental stuff. There was no vocals. It's very primitive. And I still have a lot of tapes from '88 forward to about
88 forward. That's nice, man.
to early '90s before I got bought a DAT machine to start recording digitally.
Oh,
but there's
really?
a lot of material there that's never been released. I don't think I'll release it because it's a lot of it's real primitive stuff. I mean, maybe I'll put it all sometime.
Tiger Squawk Records' own Grasp Logic is in the chat room and says Casio love. So maybe just drop that 88 stuff out. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much of it though, so I don't know. I have to ponder
well, that's good problem to have, right?
Yeah, maybe I just put out like a freebie. The thing is, it has to be mastered. I mean, right now I don't have time, but I have it all. I mean, I definitely have it all. It gives some ideas, some insight to what I sound like now in some ways, I guess.
Now that you're crushing it on Space Couch with some of the new stuff, like put that out. I mean, I think.
Yeah.
But
then in '95, at that point, that's when I started getting serious enough to formally release stuff. So the first formal album is from '95 and then forward.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, in this sort of, I mean, the internet was out, but like you can't really like shove it around the world in a second like you can now.
I used to mail order.
Did you really? That's awesome.
Tapes overseas, cassette tapes that I dub off on an old dual cassette, like a realistic dual cassette tape recorder. I would dub off my music and then mail it off.
Very cool.
That's changed, man, but I'm not complaining.
No, it's great. I mean, I get to have a TV show from space and also Boston. So I've seen you at what they were calling Carnivorous Garden and I guess the Underground Lounge. What is playing live? What's the live experience been for you?
It's been fun. I mean, for many years, I was terrified of the thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
Never even consider it until, I don't know, about 15 years ago. I had some friends in the Chicago area at that time that were in more rock band type stuff, and I got the bug. I'm going to try this out. So I tried to perform live back then. There's a little bit of video on YouTube of some of the oldest stuff, what I look like live, but it didn't click. The reason being is that I didn't realize at the time that I was in the wrong venue, the wrong audience, not into that sort of thing. And that turned me off. I mean, I would look out and people aren't even paying attention. It's just the wrong place. I mean, it's the wrong, and I took that personally, and it was a mistake. So I said, forget this, man. I'm not going to play in Chicago ever again. And then it ended up, I have a friend over in Germany, the really tight friend of mine that had an opportunity to play there in a Kraftwerk cover festival.
Nice.
And so flew over there and then did that, and it was a success.
Kick ass, man.
And I started thinking, well, duh, if I'm playing in front of the right audience, maybe people are going to be into it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Friends of ours that were mutual friends, the Carnivorous Gardens folks, AJ and Laura and a number of others, motivated me to, why don't you play live again after all these years?
Oh, that's awesome. That was like your comeback show.
That's where it started. Now I got the bug. I love it. If I see somebody up there enjoying what I'm doing, that's awesome. I'm totally flattered by somebody to take the time of their day to come out and watch me make a bunch of noise.
It's really good.
Get infected by Sul Navek.
Well, I mean, every time, who hasn't had a cybernetic being take over their body once or twice?
Exactly.
You got some.
Oh, at least it doesn't hurt too much. I can tell
well, I mean, Yours makes dope music. Like some others could be like some sort of just cybernetic meter maid, like super boring, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
it thinks it invented toilet paper or something. So,
it just tells everybody at the party like
yeah,
I was the guy that invented toilet. Uh,
exactly.
yeah, so like as far as invasive uh, robot personalities go, I think you're old to 20, but that's just me, man. Um,
So the real quick, let me toss this out there.
fuck
This
yeah,
the
tell
new
us whatever you
album
want.
is a mixture of me and the alter ego. It's not a separate one or the other.
Okay.
They're both involved in this. The
And
new
then
one.
that's which one I talked over you. I'm sorry.
Yep, that's exactly
With
what
the upcoming Skull Nevek album,
the new one
the
is a
new
mixture
cool.
of both. Yes, it's very clearly there'll be Soul Nevek material and me and both
Oh,
mixed together.
awesome. Do
Kind
you
of like
feel a different style between those two egos?
the Soul Nevek is more some ways darker, strange,
Interesting.
um, definitely danceable type stuff.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And this backs up to in 2003, I think it was. I put out an album called "I Am on the Blink," and being on the blink, it's like an old-fashioned term for something's broken.
Okay.
Like the TV's on the blink, it's broken. I came up with the idea back then of writing some strange hypnotic type music back then that sounds different than my usual synthy pop type stuff, and that actually is the premise for what became Soul Nevek
Oh,
now
really?
later. So that's where that started.
Interesting. It's always good to step out of your skin for a second. I
Oh,
kind of do that with some side projects myself. Um, Speaking of stepping out of your own material, you do a fair amount of remix work. Do you?
yeah, I have. It's when there's time, yeah, I like to entertain that. So that's my plug. If anybody out there is interested in a
Well, it's
remix,
great stuff. Tell me about your philosophy, if I can get that highfalutin, or approach to a remix, if you will.
yeah, what I always do it the same way. Is I'll get the material from the artist, I'll study it, I'll listen to it, and then if it's an artist with a vocal, of course, I will take that out. Then everything else is removed, and I recreate it from scratch myself.
Oh yeah.
Initially, I don't use any material most of the time
Hmm.
of the original stems. I'll study them and all that, but I prefer to start from scratch and recreate that myself in my own way.
Mhm.
And then obviously, if there's a vocal track, I have to put that in and manipulate. But then once it's recreated, then I start going out into my own style to tweak it out. And then it comes out to where I hope it sounds like me playing along with the original artist, like a convoluted compilation. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's a cool philosophy. Like you're already making it a duet. Uh,
Yes, yes.
do you have any remixes of which you're particularly proud?
Just Ayatoya, an
Oh,
artist here
nice.
in Chicago. Yeah, I remixed "Give Me More Lies" on her remix album that just is coming out. I think next month.
Oh, awesome.
That'll be the first remix completed for me. That's coming out this year.
Very
And
cool.
the next one I'm working on now, slowly, is from a band called The Radio Broadcast out of Houston, Texas.
Nice.
Some nice music. I'm remixing a song off their latest album now.
Very cool.
And that's going kind of slow because I'm full force working on the new album right now. But that's definitely coming for
Spinning
sure.
many plates. I love it.
Don't fall and break on my head.
How do you just your time management must be amazing. How do you get all that done?
Uh, I go through phases. I mean, I
Okay.
work a normal day job like anybody else, and then I come home and usually, if the idea is there, I'll get in the studio for maybe an hour and a half at most, and then shut it all down and go about the rest of the evening. I usually work in the evenings, not late at night, but on the weekends, late in the morning. I'll find like you. I get up and I got ideas. But usually at one session, I won't be in the studio for 6 hours. No. It's usually like these hunt and peck type things. I get an idea, hang it out, put it up, come back. Because then the next time I hit it, I find out, oh, I didn't like that. I want to change.
Yeah, there is that.
Yep.
Are there any? I'll see if I can phrase this question in the way I wanted it. Are there any musical like moves or tricks you're into right now? Like, are you really feeling like backup vocals or side chaining or really high end like high frequency synths or something like that?
Full out dance,
Full
high
okay.
energy dance music. That's
Oh
exactly
Lord.
what this album I'm working on now is I just got into this phrase. I got to get it out of my system. I'm going to be a
Well,
jamming.
I mean, hell yeah, that's my shit.
Yeah.
Describe Chicago.
Now that I have enjoyed playing live here, now I mean it was my own mistake by prejudging it based on my bad past experience, which that's just idiotic because obviously it's a huge city with all kinds of scene of music. But yeah, in our circle, I'm sure you remember our circle of friends here in our little musical community. I mean, it's a godsend. I mean, we need all this support and we all help each other out, and that there is a growing scene here, and I'm sure it's larger than anything I've even been exposed to yet. I still have to find all of it, but yeah, it's a wonderful city. I mean, the weather is up and down, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, no, I love that description. Like, there's always kind of something to discover. Like, I'd been in Chicago for years and years, and there was always like a part of like Hyde Park or something I just never been to. Like, this was here the whole time. What?
Exactly. Yep.
Uh, so
But
so
it is inspiring musically, though. I mean,
it is pretty.
yeah.
Chicago is listening and ready to judge, says Ryan Rasmussen. You're in Minneapolis, though, so
We are. We are there via this transmission.
we are everywhere. This is the space couch, not because we're in the cosmos, because we're taking up space on your monitor. Ha ha ha. The where might we catch you live next? Do you have anything on the books?
No, I want to get the album out right now.
Okay, no, that
But
is
I am,
fair.
if anybody in the area, or if anybody really in the initially drivable distances from where Chicago has ideas for shows and needs something like me along, just shoot me a message. Right now, I have nothing booked. I'm not booking anything right now because the album just has to be put out first. Otherwise, I'll never finish it.
No, that's that. I love that focus. Like live shows take a lot of time and prep,
Yeah,
man.
I love it, but then I know for the live thing, I know already what I want to do based on the new album, but I'm not letting myself touch that. No. Get what's done. Get the priority done first before you start playing, or I'll never finish it. I know it.
Can I ask you what you physically do live? Like, I usually will, like, when I play in like Caustic or something, we'll just kind of like make weird sound effect stuff. Do you like play the leads, or do you trigger?
Yes, I play leads, obviously the vocals. I mangle everything up in real time via hardware devices and/or software. Now I kind of shrunken down the rig a little bit for make it more portable. And obviously, video is a huge part of it.
Oh yeah,
video is all pre-done. Obviously,
you do all that yourself.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's all real tight so that that's not live sequence. I mean, it is prepared. Otherwise, I'd never be able to coordinate all of it myself.
No, I do the same thing.
Yeah, I have to, and then it looks really good and all that. But yeah, I mean, I basically, for lack of a better word, I remixed myself live.
It's pretty awesome, though.
That's what it is. That's really what it is because the basic song is there. It's going. Just chew it up and then play over the top, play the leads, and change things around, and then obviously vocals and have a lot of fun with it. But,
very cool. That's so you're gonna get almost a different product every time if you're remixing.
Yeah. I mean, if I play the same song 10 nights in a row, it will sound the same, but the intricacies of it, you'll hear changes and stuff.
Very cool. Very cool.
The structure won't change. I mean, that's pretty set, But so that's where I do use Ableton, but I use it in a linear format, so it's not as real time where I'm hunting and pecking the passages, which is a great tool for that. But the way that I write music is linear in a linear format. So I figure when I play live, I need to do it in that same style as well in my mind. Anyway.
Oh, your approach is pretty like you start at the 0 mark of a song and go like you don't like do the ending first or switch to like the second chorus. You're straight through like that. Okay.
It's like a story. I mean, I can't start the story and I got to write the conclusion right now. What's in the middle? A lot of artists do that. It's great. I love music like that. I can't. My little brain can't do that. I've always.
You have at least 2 brains to rely on. And as a gear guy or half gear guy, is there anything out that you're kind of looking at like, maybe that would be nice to add to the collection?
Electron Digitone.
Okay.
which is now, I have that now. So
Oh, you haven't? Okay. Well, mission accomplished. You're living the dream. I love it.
that plays a huge piece in this new album. I will say that.
Okay, what's that? Is that just like what does that do? Is it like a filter bank or what?
It's an FM synth by
Okay.
Electron in Sweden, but it's wildly perfect. It creates percussion sounds.
Very cool.
Oh man, so there's a lot of that in the. And then my first MIDI keyboard back in the day was a Yamaha DX100. So I have an affinity for FM synth going back in the day. It kind of has a soft spot in my heart. So in the new album, I mean, this thing is FM, but I did bust out the old one, and it plays a little piece in the old songs that I'm redoing. It is in there. So
nice, man. Little
hear that old thing back in
historical
there.
Notes, making historical notes.
Fuzzy and the old fuzzy.
Yeah, just
love it.
Line noise through the roof. Good stuff. Right. So, Kevin is available for live play remix work. Not at this moment because he's doing an amazing new album.
Anybody's got any questions out there, shoot them
yes, anything you want to know from Mr. Lux, possibly you could email us in for Mr. Navek, and we can take those off the air because
this is true.
I can't control the comings and goings of cybernetic beings.
I can't either.
And we will be bringing this rogue flight path back around to home base shortly. Although I'm interested in this new album, not even musically. What or musically if you want, meaning what are three of the main influences that we might hear in Electric Dimension?
I want to say not really so much influences, but the idea of real chaotic, high energy beat type music.
Okay.
But with a real ethereal ambient floating over it. I haven't really done a lot of that, so there's some stuff which is hard jamming stuff with a lot of arpeggios and a lot of just might even be too much arpeggios and sequence bass.
I'm in.
Yeah, but then there's ethereal type stuff kind of floating over the top of it, textured.
Very cool.
There's a lot of that in this that I'm finding I'm really getting into lately.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then the vocal style is going to be different. I mean, it's still vocoded, but it's all white noise. So it's going to sound really, I like it. It has a really cool, more of an industrial sound to it.
We are getting industrial up in here. I love it. Okay, so check that out. Let me be semi-professional. There'll be real versions of that out in the world and a super special magical version at kevinlux.bandcamp.com.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And that's all. You're putting that all out yourself. That's not like on a label or anything, or is?
Yeah, I distribute through CD Baby, but everything is always independently put out. But I have the distribution network, but yeah, I always do everything independently because I don't want a label trying to tell me you should do it this way.
Right.
No, I do it my way or the highway.
Totally. Well, you're doing the computer lord's work. I love it. Say hi to Mr. Navek and if you see him again, maybe do like that movie thing where you leave yourself a note, and then when you come to, you can read it and
see what it did. See if it trashed the house or something. And again.
Oh yeah, I mean. Maybe it'll like vacuum the rug or something. And you'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool, thanks, other me."
Usually, if it's working on its own album, I'll come out. There's a new file on the computer. What is that? Oh, this is badass. Okay, it was in there. Sweet.
There you go. Do you have any closing thoughts for us here on Space Couch today?
No, I mean, thanks for having me out. You can find me at all the usual places, kevinlux.com on the Bandcamp site. There's a YouTube channel called Robot KL. There's a lot. You just search for my name on it. You'll see the KL logo. There's a lot of live footage on there.
Very cool. Very cool.
Promoters that are looking to see what I look like live, because there's a very good
check that out.
Examples on there what it looks like.
That's Robot KL on YouTube.
Yes, or just search YouTube for me. You'll find it.
Very cool.
Yep.
All right. We will jack out momentarily here on this super cybernetic double guest having episode of Space Couch. It's been the best. This.
Oh wait, you're over there. Oh, this whole time.
I'm over here. Wait, No, I did it wrong. I'm over here.
Sorry, this
so
whole
we'll
time
just-
I wasn't even looking at you.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, like this will be the thumbnail for the episode. This is the first time I've ever done this bit. This is Brian for Space Couch for Kevin Lux saying space goodbye. I don't have a sign off yet. Maybe we'll think of one, but we got ending credits going now. We can always yak over those. Kevin, this has been a great episode. Thank you so much for having me. Thank Mr. Skull. And, people want to know, can you put the links in this vid for later? We will do that.
Yes.
Vicarious 1.
Yep.
All right. Space goodbye! Oh, shit.